coverage, it continues right here on the Weather Network, and we've got a lot to talk about. We've got this clipper forming out in Alberta. It's bringing a lot of snow through BC, Alberta, winter storm warnings, freezing rain warnings, a whole bunch of them, and then into Ontario, another day of squalls, the Atlantic, another day of sea effect, and we're watching for these two lows. They're going to merge, and it's a very stormy weekend into eastern Canada. Of course, we have all the details right here at the Weather Network. First, I want to take you outside. Let's join Mike right now in Guelph, Ontario. And Mike, I'm sure you're going to make a lot of kids really happy this morning with your tips on the backyard skating rink. Oh yeah, the deep freeze. And you know what, Mike, our temperatures are going to rise through the weekend and then extremely fall into next week. So good conditions for that backyard rink. Okay, Mike Arsenault live in Guelph. He'll be joining the show a little bit later on again. As we look at our radar right now, just lightly picking up the start of some snow squalls. It's going to be another day of this. We do have a snow squall watch in place for much of southern Ontario. We'll be breaking that down throughout the hour. But this is in regards to the next system that's coming through. We see this snowmaker in Alberta, the Alberta Clipper, plus a big low out of Texas. These two will merge just before they hit Ontario, and this is why a very messy mix is in store. We see snow to start, a period of mixing, and then rain in after that. So this is what Saturday afternoon looks like throughout Ontario. Take North Bay and Sudbury, anything north of that, it is going to continue to be just straight snow. But to the south, we could see quite a good period of some mixing. From the Georgian Bay, take it out to the Ottawa Valley. This could be quite a bit of freezing rain. So, of course, watching for some treacherous driving conditions through here. As we jump back to our snow squall story, that is in place for today. Through here, watch out for some blowing snow, low visibility out on the roads. Today's snowfall looks like this with the lake effect. 5 to 10 centimeters for the Grey Bruce area. Sault Ste. Marie, same thing goes for you. And then less than 5 widespread throughout southern Ontario. As we look at some snow in through Saturday, this is as the two systems join in together. We'll meet in Ontario. Barrie, 5 to 10 centimeters. North of that, looking at some lesser amounts. What a weekend it's going to be. We are seeing quite a bit of snow up to Thunder Bay, 15 to 30 centimeters. Winnipeg right now, you are in a snowfall warning, southern Manitoba. Let me take you into Newfoundland now because we got a lot to talk about. Look at this. And boy, storm watch coverage. We have so much to talk about, so much snow, and that's sea effect snow behind you. Oh, absolutely, Nate. Thank you very much. We'll join you again throughout the show, and don't go anywhere because coming up, we're sharing your polar bear dip photos, plus taking a look at this very stormy weekend. Watch coverage, it's here and it continues on the Weather Network. It's looking so winter-like along the west coast that Metro Vancouver now, the Fraser Valley, you are in a winter storm watch. We have quite a bit of winter on the way, and this is what it already looks like in Sexsmith, Alberta. This Share Your Weather goes out to you. Thank you very much, Clay Valzerano, for sending in this photo. This was taken at 1 a.m. this morning, and that's when the snow just started. This is just west of Edmonton, north of Grand Prairie. You are going to be getting into quite a bit of snow. So this is what your forecast looks like today. The snow will continue, minus 17, but with that wind chill, it's going to feel like minus 24. So no doubt today is full on winter through northern BC, northern Alberta, and this is going to move right across the prairies. We have that story coming up, but I want to get into something fun here. The polar bear dip. Have you ever done it before? I have not. I think it is terrifying, but let me show you some photos. This is what it looked like in Charlottetown, PEI. Got the smartphones out, taking pictures of all those crazy people who want to start off the new year like this. This is Grimsby, Ontario. I'll show you this one as well. Sunnyside Beach. This was from Blog TO. That photo was taken. This looks like chaos, doesn't it? This one here, Port Credit. That's in Mississauga, just on Lake Ontario. Very, very brave people. Even got a smile to end it off. But I really like this one. Look at this guy's face. This is in Texas as they were doing the polar bear dip. I think his expression says it all, doesn't it? Now, as we get into our weather story here at home, we are seeing a lot of snow right across the country. It's another day of some sea effect snow for you out in Atlantic Canada. We were joining Nathan Coleman earlier on the show, and he was showing us some of the totals out in Halifax. You do have quite a white dusting. So as we look at this, another day of sea effect, so 5 to 10 centimeters along the western edge of Newfoundland. Mainland Nova Scotia, 2 centimeters. Same thing goes for PEI. Watches as well along the northern Gaspé for some snow squalls. And when we talk about snow squalls, lake effect snow, Ontario, it's another day of seeing this. Yesterday was a disaster along the 401. Out near Kingston, that was closed in the eastbound lanes. So we can see less than 5 centimeters widespread, but pinpointing the Bruce Peninsula here, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow possible. So just another addition into what you've already seen in terms of the lake effect this week. And then this is the big story right now. Out west, we do have a clipper that's currently forming right now, and this is going to quickly move right across the prairies. We do have snowfall warnings in place for many areas. Manitoba, you've now been added to that. And all of this snow, a fragile snowpack, this leads to a situation like this. Avalanche danger risk, it has been increased. What is an avalanche? How is it caused? Here's science. Dry skin, quite a problem this time of year, and especially with wind chills like this. Regina, -22, Winnipeg, -20. Edmonton, a lot colder today with that wind chill, and Yellowknife, hey, you take the cake at -42. Dress warm. It's January the 2nd. Happy 2015. Maybe this is the first time you're tuning in. Glad to see you as well. And, well, you in Atlantic Canada, it's another day of CFX snow, so you might not be so glad to see this. And as we've been looking at the radar now for the past 2 hours live here on the morning show, you can really start to see the CFX snow develop, especially over Inverness County, Cape Breton Island. You're really getting into it right now. We're seeing the winds coming out of the southwest just in front of this cold front, so that's why the Avalon as well getting into some of that. Later on throughout the day, they will switch, and then, yeah, the western edge of Newfoundland, that's where you'll get into some of the higher amounts, 5 to 10 centimeters possible, but more widespread, we're looking at that 5 centimeter range. We do have snow squall watches in place. Grand Etang, you're in that, as well as the northern shore. So let's go outside to Nathan Coleman. Nate, you're in Halifax, and behind you, well, we see it. That's the CFX snow.
Well.
Yeah, a warm welcome to the winter snow. And Nate, you go get a warm drink. I know you've been telling us that you haven't been feeling too well, so you are a trooper to still join us out in the cold, standing in the snow on the morning show. So get yourself a hot drink, and we'll see you again in a second, okay? Nate Coleman live in Halifax. As we look at the temperatures into the afternoon, -3 in Moncton, -8 in Sherbrooke. Again, it's another cool day. Add the wind chill on top of that. And let's go into Ontario now, where we'll join this scene. We don't see a lot of ice cover on the lakes, and that's why this is another day of seeing some snow squalls. Snow squalls are going to be an issue. We'll break that down. This is what the temperatures look like this morning. You can see where that extreme cold is. Pembroke, Petawawa up to Sault Ste. Marie. It's going to be freezing today. Look at this. -27 in Geraldton, -29 in Pickle Lake. That's the morning highs. Remember that. So very, very cold. Now, as we look at this, this is what's happening, and this is what's going to be our big system into the weekend. This here is the Alberta Clipper. Right now, it's just on the Alberta-BC border. That's still forming. That is going to move right across the prairies. And then this Texas low, they will merge into Ontario, and it's a very messy mix ahead. Some seeing snow, freezing rain. We'll have all the details coming up. But today, that's snow squalls. And how do they form? What are they all about? Here's more. Storm watch coverage, it continues right here on the Weather Network. Let's take a wide look right across the country. And as you can see, active weather, yes, that's really moving out of BC now and into Alberta. This is the Clipper. The Clipper that's going to bring some nasty weather into Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritimes for this weekend. For you across the prairies, though, yes, you can expect quite a bit of snow today, and this is going to move by fairly quick. So right now in Atlantic Canada, CFX snow, that's your issue today. So let me take you outside, and let's join Nathan Coleman. Nate, you are live in Halifax, and looks like you have found a guest. Good morning, guys.
Right, and go Habs go.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll send it back into you, Rachel.
Thank you very much. Yeah, go Habs go, or go Leafs go, Nate. I don't know about that. Thanks very much, Nate. All right, let's take a look at the CFX snow that's happening throughout Atlantic Canada. Winds right now out of the southwest will change into more of a westerly flow throughout the day. So that's why the western edge of Newfoundland, you're in the target zone there for 5 to 10 centimeters. In terms of the temperatures in Halifax, it's about -2 right now, warming up to 0 where Nathan is. Travel further inland, further north, that's where temperatures are closer to -10. Through Quebec as well, it's going to be a chilly day. Add the wind chill on top of that. Temperatures feeling closer to -15. So overall, another day of the squalls. The winds are there. We're seeing the fetch. That means the wind, the distance the wind has to travel over the relatively warm bodies of water. We've been showing you some footage of the lakes, not frozen over at all. And that's why now into January, we are still seeing this development, the development of the snow squall. So let me show you Owen Sound. This is a target zone here. Right now, you are in a snow squall warning, which I'm sure sure a lot of you were, maybe at a chalet in Collingwood. The driving conditions were very tricky. So today is another day of the snow squalls, but they're winding down. As high pressure moves in, it will shut off that snow squall machine, but we're bracing for a system, and a system that's going to be messy, and it's going to leave you in a situation like this. This is Saturday afternoon. This will move in Saturday morning and continue on further east. The blue, that is all snow. We can see that mixing line quite thick, and then the rain that's going to follow after that. The mixing line is what really draws in some of our biggest concerns here. We're talking about some very icy conditions stretching from the Georgian Bay all the way through to the Ottawa Valley. This is what it looks like for Saturday evening as this system continues to move on further east. So we're really keeping an eye on this. Dr. Doug will be joining the show a little bit later on, and he'll help us break that down and figure out exactly what we're going to get into. So today is the snow squalls, 5 to 10 centimeters for the Bruce Peninsula, less than 5 for much of Ontario, for southern Ontario, I should say. Snow squalls today, system into tomorrow. That's what you got to remember, okay? And don't go anywhere, because when we're back, we'll be continuing to break down the story and also getting into the prairies. Day of the year and second day into storm watch. Happy 2015. We are in storm watch right now for much of the country. As you see this, an Alberta clipper forming right along the borderline of BC and Alberta. This is bringing some snowfall warnings, winter storm warnings in place right across the prairies. And we also have, well, a developing system that's headed into Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada. We have all the details throughout the hour, but first I want to get into something fun. We'll join Mike Arsenault out in Quebec, and not Quebec, in Guelph, rather, Guelph, Ontario. And Mike, you have some homemade skating rink tips. Fill us in. I'm sure you're making a lot of kids really happy this morning, strengthening the case on why they should have a backyard rink. So we'll join you throughout the show. Thank you very much. Mike Arsenault live in Guelph, Ontario. Now, this is what we've been talking about here at the Weather Network, the incoming system that is going to bring some active weather into Ontario, Quebec, and through the Maritimes. And I want you to watch this. This right here is the Alberta Clipper that is bringing a lot of snow through the prairie provinces, and this is a Texas low that's going to bring some warmer air into eastern Canada. So watch here how they merge right before Ontario, and this is going to be bringing in some active weather, some messy weather as well. Today we are dealing with snow squalls. So squalls are another issue. We have warnings right now along the Grey Bruce Peninsula, also Barrie up to Owen Sound. You are in a warning where situations, well, they look a lot like this. Have a look at some of the snow here in this video. Blowing snow has been an issue. We've also been looking at some road closures as well. So have a look into Saturday. This is where we're looking at a new system. So we showed you those two lows merged together. This is going to be bringing in something like this. Rain to the south, that line of mixing, and then we also have some snow. The Texas low is bringing in that warm air, so that's why we will see that transition period. And this is where things could get, well, a little dangerous. When we do see that much mixing, could be very dangerous for travel. So this is how it looks like into Saturday. So Ontario, your very active day is Saturday, and then moving into Quebec through Sunday, and then the Maritimes late Sunday. Let me show you what it looks like in Edmonton, right across the prairies. So how do these Alberta clippers form? Here's science behind the weather. Our storm watch coverage, it sure does continue right here on the Weather Network. We are in storm watch right now, right across the country. A big winter system, a big winter setup. We are seeing right now snowfall warnings across the prairies, freezing rain warnings as well in BC as this clipper forms, and it's going to move right across the prairies, and quite a bit of snow. We'll be talking about that throughout the hour. And then also into Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritimes, these two systems here will merge, and it's a very messy mix. So we're breaking down all of these details throughout the hour. First, we'll start off with some of our current weather. This is the cold. Winnipeg -16, Edmonton -13. Edmonton, you're a lot cooler than you were yesterday. And the sea effect snow. So along that western edge, the winds right now out of the southwest, they will be switching to more of a westerly flow. So western edge of Newfoundland, well, another day of 5 to 10 centimeters. That's possible. Into Ontario as well, snow squalls. You've all been very familiar with those this week. It has just been constant. So again, we do have some warnings in place for the Bruce Peninsula as well as Barrie over to Owen Sound. So these are the weather stories we're dealing with today. But ahead, we could see scenes that look like this. Doug, we are bracing for this system to move into Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritimes, and it has a lot of different elements.
It sure does, and we're going to be combining the clipper with a developing low, bringing moisture up from the Gulf of Mexico. No one's going to see a ton of snow with this system, but it's a large system, it's a messy system, and for a lot of places, well, it's not the snow totals, it's the burst of snow at the start. There'll be several hours in which snowfall rates will be somewhat impressive, certainly impact your ability to get around, and then a lot of places change over to ice pellets, over to freezing rain, then over to rain, and then the cold air pours in. So a lot of elements to this system.
Okay, so let's play this out. So we see our two lows here, and they will merge basically just before they get into the Great Lakes. So that's the merging there.
Right, this is Saturday, and this low coming out from the Gulf of Mexico and Texas really takes over. So again, the snow moving into southern Ontario, couple hours, especially up along the 401 corridor. Then it's over to ice pellets and freezing rain, and temperatures hover very close to zero for several hours Saturday evening, so that's a bit of a concern. Again, temperatures won't be uniform across the area, so even if it's +1 officially, you've got to watch out for some icy patches. Then that moves into the Maritimes as we get into Sunday or Saturday night pre-dawn hours into Sunday morning. We're going to really see that burst of snow.
Okay, so we are dealing with quite the messy setup. We'll play this again here so we can see it merge and then coming through the Maritimes again. Right. So this is, we would say New Brunswick could see the greatest period of the mixing?
The greatest concern for maybe more significant freezing rain would be in New Brunswick, but pretty well everywhere in the Maritimes, except for far northern New Brunswick, we'll see that transition. Snow, ice pellets, freezing rain, and then over to rain. But again, that little swath through New Brunswick could be set up for a little bit more in the way of freezing rain.
Okay, and this is what Doug's talking about here. It's snow to start, this is the freezing line, and the rain followed in behind that. So this is a snapshot at what Saturday afternoon would look like. And then we see Saturday evening here. This freezing is a concern from the Georgian Bay all the way into the Ottawa Valley.
Right. During the evening, snow for Ottawa and Montreal changes over to freezing rain during the night, and then a brief period of warm weather over to rain Sunday morning before the cold air comes back in.
Okay, so we are bracing for the snow, and of course we will have all the details right here on the Weather Network. Don't go anywhere. Our Storm Watch coverage, yes, it's here right across the country. In fact, we are dealing with a very winter-like setup. Depending on where you live, it's going to greet you today or into tomorrow, Saturday. That's for you in Ontario. Today, you're dealing with the snow squalls. Today's going to be another day of the squalls. I know yesterday it was a disaster out in the Kingston area in Odessa. The 401 was closed. That's just in between Napanee and Kingston. Snow squalls can be very dangerous this time of year. So the good news with this is they are starting to really calm down today. As this high pressure moves into place, it will turn off the snow squall machine essentially, but you're bracing for something bigger than snow squalls. Watch these two lows. We have our Alberta Clipper that's bringing quite a bit of snow into BC, Alberta, and right across the prairies through this afternoon. And then we have this Texas low that has some moisture, quite a bit of moisture, and some warmer temperatures. They will merge just before they hit Ontario, and this is bringing a messy mix. Starting off as snow, a transition period, freezing rain, ice, yes, and then ending off as rain for many. As we look at our snow squall story, that's today. Places like the Bruce Peninsula, 5 to 10 centimeters, hardest hit. Sault Ste. Marie, same thing goes for you. But widespread, we are looking at less than 5 centimeters. When we take it into the system that's coming in tomorrow, this is our biggest weather story here. This is where we will see snow to start, the mixing, and then the straight rain. And this is going to start to move into Ontario Saturday morning. This will continue to push throughout the day. And Windsor, you'll be starting off with a quick burst of snow and then transitioning into the rain. You can see through the evening, the rain then continues to fill through southern Ontario. But that mixing line, Georgian Bay all the way out to the Ottawa Valley, this is a concern as ice is very dangerous this time of year. But ice in your backyard, well, that's pretty exciting as you make your own skating rink. Mike Arsenault is live in Guelph, Ontario, and Mike, fill us in.
Rink.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Thank you very much, Mike. Some great tips there. They're live in Guelph, Ontario. Now, let's take it back here at home in Ontario and with this system that's approaching and what it's going to do. Well, this is the snowfall, and you can see not huge amounts of snow. Barrie, 5 to 10 centimeters. You seem to be the hardest hit. Sault Ste. Marie, same thing goes for you. We are in storm watch for this because of that mixing period. We are seeing some places with the high snowfall, up to Thunder Bay, 30 centimeters possible throughout the southern prairies as well. 30 centimeters very possible for you. Good morning, Regina. This is what you could see, a scene like this. Active weather. This clipper is forming right now, basically right along the BC and Alberta border, and this is going to move fast, and it's going to drop quite a bit of snow. This is going to move through Alberta into Saskatchewan and also southern Manitoba. Being close to the Interlakes region here, this is why Brandon through to Regina could be seeing again up to 30 centimeters of snow. It sort of calms down as it passes through Saskatoon and then fires back up again. Jasper, 15 centimeters. Edmonton, we were looking at photos earlier in the show from Sexsmith, Alberta. You've already seen quite a few, and it is just starting. So don't go anywhere because we have more on, well, our social media and our active weather coming up. Definitely cold enough to sustain that snow on the ground, and we're talking about squalls today and then a system into tomorrow. So two different winter elements that you're going to have to deal with as you get into the weekend. As we look at this morning, temperatures a lot cooler to the north. You can see Barrie, you got the snow icon, same thing for Owen Sound and Sault Ste. Marie, and that's because this is where you'll find the snow squalls this morning. Let's head up into northwestern Ontario, minus 27, minus 29. It is freezing cold this morning. This is when frostbite does become a concern. As we look at the snow squalls, this is how much snow we can expect. Bruce Peninsula, 5 to 10 centimeters. That is going to be the hardest hit area along with Sault Ste. Marie. Today is the day the snow squalls start to die down. We'll see high pressure come into place in the afternoon, and the snow squalls will end, but we'll brace for this. This is two merging lows as they enter into Ontario, one with some snow and the colder temperatures that are already here, and one a Texas low that's going to bring in some warmth. And that's why we are seeing that rain. As the system moves in, this is Saturday morning, Windsor to London, you'll start off with a burst of snow, quickly transitioning into rain. And then places like Barrie, this is going to be longer periods of snow, this mixing line throughout the afternoon. This is the dangerous zone here. This is where very icy conditions can occur, are likely to occur. And then into Saturday evening, you can see the rain continues to push through, but so does that mixing line. This is Georgian Bay through Barrie all the way out towards the Ottawa Valley. This could again be a very treacherous zone for some travel. Anything north of that, well, you're falling as straight snow. Let's go to Saskatchewan now. Quickly head to you, Saskatchewan, and you will be seeing the snowfall totals really starting to ramp up into the afternoon through the evening. Regina, it's lightly snowing with just a trough this morning. The Clipper just about here right now, and it will continue to make its way further east. If you are seeing this light snow right now, this is not the Clipper. I had a tweet from Brent in Portage La Prairie. Good morning, Brent, saying it's snowing. Yes, that is not the big system. This is it here. So starting to snow here right now this morning. It will continue to push throughout the day today. And you're looking at quite a bit of snow, especially through the Interlakes region. Look at this, Brandon. You could get around 15 to 30 centimeters, and that's picking up some extra moisture on the lakes. Regina, again, same thing goes for you, around 30 centimeters. Some of the higher elevations closer to 15 here. It's going to move fast. That's the key. So you might not see the snow, and then all of a sudden, well, whoa, there it is. Snowfall warnings, those are in place right now out of BC into Alberta, also throughout southern Saskatchewan, southern Manitoba. These have all just recently been issued. In terms of the temperatures this morning, this is what it feels like. You can see where the snow is falling, some rain as well, and of course we have more details on that. This system could produce some avalanches, and here's the science behind the weather. Winter is here. Yeah, as we ring in 2015, it is a wintry mix right across the country. We've been watching the radar very closely this morning. This is a look at the cloud tops here. And this system, this Alberta Clipper, it has formed and it is moving fast. Dr. Doug will be joining the show, and we'll be breaking down what could happen, what will happen, I should say, when these two lows merge and what it will do to eastern Canada. Today, right across the country, yep, temperatures are cold. We can see this is current. minus 16 in Winnipeg. Yellowknife, good morning, minus 29. It is cold. Our story today in Atlantic Canada is another day of some sea effect snow, 5 to 10 centimeters along the western edge. The Avalon also picked up a few extra centimeters this morning, as well as Cape Breton Island, as those winds were out of the southwest. We will now have a wind switch to more of a westerly flow. And hey, that puts you back right into it, Stephenville. Good morning to you. Our story into Ontario, it's another day of this, another day of snow squalls. They will start to taper down into the afternoon as high pressure comes into play, but we're bracing for something even bigger than squalls. Let's take a look at Kingston, Ontario. Let's talk about this. These two lows will merge and could be a messy scene.
It sure will, and it's a big system in terms of its impact on the region. Not so much in the ultimate snow totals. We've certainly seen bigger winter storms in terms of snowfall amounts or freezing rain amounts, but impacting a large region. Midday Saturday, we see the snow spreading into southern Ontario, including the GTA. Initially comes in as a pretty good burst of snow, changing over to ice pellets and then freezing rain and ultimately rain. That spreads into the Maritimes during the pre-dawn hours on Sunday. And again, most of the Maritimes will see that same sequence of events. It starts off as a pretty good dose of burst of snow, then over to ice pellets, freezing rain, and then ultimately some rain. Then on the backside of the system, the cold northwesterly winds, the lake effect snow gets going once again. Some dangerous travel conditions around the lakes. Whiteouts Sunday night into Monday and bitterly cold temperatures.
Okay, so it looks very much like winter as we start off January. And really, for a lot of people, Monday is back to reality. It's back to work, back to school. So you'll be traveling conditions that look like this. And this is sort of the danger zone. That's the mixing here.
Yeah, if you'll be out and about on Saturday, certainly want to be prepared for this. Again, not a large amount of snow, but a burst of snow comes through midday into Saturday afternoon. That spreads into Ottawa and Montreal for the evening. In the GTA, the freezing line will be fairly close to the 401, close to Lake Ontario. Expect temperatures go above zero and change over to rain. Temperatures are going to hover very close to zero for a large region. Not so much worried about trees and power lines, although that certainly could be an issue, but road temperatures will still be right around zero. So even if the temperature is officially 1 degree, you could still have some icy roads. Then temperatures jump up Sunday morning, and then they plunge later in the day.
Okay, the plunging temperatures. We're going to talk about that in 1 second, but first let's look right across eastern Canada. The highest snowfall totals, 10 to 20 centimeters, okay, but that mixing and that rain, that's what's really going to be problematic.
Right, you get that snow amount and then you put some ice on top of that, makes for some difficult travel. Again, the GTA, just 2 to 5 centimeters. Ottawa, Montreal, some places close to 10 centimeters, and mostly 10 centimeters in the Maritimes, a few spots closer to 20, especially in the north.
Okay, and then in behind this system is this freezing cold and Arctic blast.
Frigid temperatures for most of next week.
Okay, thanks Doug for your analysis, and our Storm Watch, it continues.